Am I the a-hole for walking away from my parents after they told me they're going to adopt my brother's bio sibling? My parents became foster parents after I, 16 male, was born. They actually adopted 3 kids from foster care before they decided to stop fostering. At the time, my parents said they wanted to focus more on their kids, but really I think they were struggling with 4 of us, and I think near the end fostering became more for the money than anything. As the oldest and their bio kid, so they didn't worry if I felt like I belonged or not, I had to make more sacrifices than my siblings. Stuff for me came last. I got less than my siblings too, and gifts were cheaper so they could splurge a little for my siblings. So for Christmas, I'd maybe get some clothes and books, and I don't really read. My siblings would get toys and tablets and stuff they loved. For my birthday, I'd get a smaller cake and essentials as gifts again. When I was 12, my grandparents bought me a laptop for my birthday, and my parents pressured me into giving it up so it could be used as a family computer instead of a personal one just for me. I said no the first time, but my parents weren't going to accept it. I don't get to go out with my friends often because my parents don't want used gas driving me, and they don't want to give me money to eat or go to a movie or whatever. They also send me to birthdays without a gift for my friends, so I have asked my grandparents for money sometimes to buy a gift for my friends. My parents never send my siblings without gifts for their friends. My parents wanted me to get a job, but they wanted me to do that so I could put the money into the household. Since I get the short end of the stick, I don't want to add money to make everyone else's lives easier, but not mine, and I don't believe it would make my life easier. In October, my grade will have the chance to go on the school's interactional trip. We were told about it in February, so we can save and get numbers. I pleaded with my parents to find a way to send me. I got my grandparents to help me talk them through it, and they agreed, so they started saving. Then, a week ago, my parents announced that my younger brother's birth mom is pregnant again, and she approached them to do a private adoption so her kids could be raised together. My parents agreed, so they sat us down and told us, and mentioned that they had already spent the money saved for the trip. They said things will change for a couple of years, but we'll have a new member of the family. I was so pissed and hurt, and I just walked out. I walked away from my parents and ignored when they called me back. They were so angry about it, and when my grandparents found out, they offered to pay for the trip for me. But my parents said they would stop them paying directly, and if they give the money to me, they will make sure it goes on more important things. They called me childish and petty for walking away like I did. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. I feel sorry for you. Still, it is first time I hear that foster parents care more about their foster children than their bio one. Usually, it is other way around. Have you ever considered living with your grandparents? It seems to me you got a lot better contact with them.
It can happen sometimes. I found a group where others experienced things like I did. It's like our parents try so hard to make up for the foster adopted kids not being biologically related that they kind of shit on and forget their bio kids. Living with my grandparents sounds great, but my parents would never let me go.
Not the a-hole. You reacted really maturely, I think. Not throwing a tantrum in front of your siblings. You do take care of them too. It seems to me like you're the third parent, and you have to sacrifice a lot of things. You're not at an age to be a parent, and you did not choose to behave like that. Your parents should treat everyone, including you, the same way. They created your resentment, you're right. Your grandparents seem really great. Is there a chance for you to go stay with them for some time? If your parents disagree, you can be petty and say it would be one less child to take care of. Take that laptop with you.
I wish. But no, my parents would never let me go. They'd also call me disrespectful for saying that. I can hear them now. We never said we didn't want you here, or for you to go, or whatever.
But I don't understand why your parents won't let you receive gifts from your grandparents. First the laptop, then this trip. It is so weird. It's their gifts to you. You're clearly not spoiled. You're clearly mature. You deserve this little treat. I fail to understand your parents' point of view. They risk to lose you when you reach 18 and leave the house.
Because they feel the money can be better spent on the quality of life of everyone else in the house, except for me.
Tell your parents to get a second job if they need money. Gifts for you aren't for the whole family. If they get individual gifts and you think it's worth it, point it out. They shouldn't spend so much and be selfish and should keep the money for the family, not the a-hole.
Start telling everybody you know about the household dynamics, how you are pushed aside and they keep adding kids, that they want you to get a job so that you can help provide for the family. Tell your teachers and school counselor. Give all your neighbors fodder for gossip. If your parents are part of a church group, make a fuss to them about the unfairness. Make such a big noise that your parents send you to your grandparents' house so that you will stop bad-mouthing them. You have been cooperative and quiet, and that has not worked to your favor. So go the opposite direction. Not the a-hole.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to visit my mother-in-law after she fat-shamed me following the birth of my baby? I, 26 female, and my husband, 26 male, just welcomed our first baby a few months ago. Him and I are overjoyed, and I am so in love with our tiny bundle. My family has been super supportive, bringing us dinners and making sure we had time for napping while we adjusted to parent life. My husband's family is different from mine in a lot of ways. They didn't want to visit us and only wanted us to come to them. They live about 20 minutes away and didn't really care to offer much for support following the birth. We were fine with it and brought our baby over when we were able to, around 3 times a month. After the first month, my mother-in-law began commenting about how much she prioritized losing the baby weight after she had her first baby. At first, I didn't think anything of it. I thought she was just voicing her experience, as many people do when they are around babies. She then started commenting on my baby's chubby cheeks and how similar they are to mine. I felt a bit hurt, but let it slide once again. The final straw was when my husband was talking to her casually about my wanting to start going on runs again and how we were planning on making it work since our baby is very attached to me. She very loudly said, "You're thinking about trying to run? Shouldn't you start with walking?" His whole family was in the room and looked at me waiting for my answer. I am an avid runner who only stopped due to my pregnancy, and her comment really hurt. When I was a teenager, I had a really bad eating disorder, one that I am still struggling with. Comments on my body or physical abilities are hurtful to hear, and she is someone who I knew talked about people's bodies behind their backs, but I didn't think she would be so mean to my face. I am not skinny by any means, but live a healthy and active lifestyle, so weight should not be my concern. This is where I feel like the a-hole. I don't want to see her anymore. She makes me feel like crap about myself, and my husband is backing me up 100%. His mom is angry because she thinks we are just keeping her grandchild away from her and believes it is unfair. He goes there without me, but it is difficult to take our baby because she is exclusively breastfed and refuses bottles of any kind. Am I the a-hole? Edit. After reading the first few comments, I realized that I left out some info. I am currently 5 months postpartum and have been fully cleared by my doctor to begin my running regimen.
Not the a-hole. Commenting on the weight of someone who just had a baby is an incredible a-hole move. No one asked her.
Not the a-hole. It is completely your choice to avoid someone who makes you feel bad about your body. Her intentions are not relevant, and it doesn't matter if her actions are small in the context of you having had and are managing your ED. She is being very selfish and inconsiderate. Perhaps she isn't aware of the seriousness of her behavior. This absolutely isn't on you, but perhaps your husband could remind her what triggers are and that she needs to be more considerate to keep the peace. That is, make it bearable for you to be around her. Best wishes and stay happy, healthy.
People like this thrive in the benefit of the doubt people like you make for them. They live their horrible lives by being able to hide behind plausible deniability. She's not just selfish and inconsiderate, failings we can sometimes forgive. 99% likely she's being mean intentionally and is a bad person.
Not the a-hole. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to waste your time around people who only want to tear you down.
Not the a-hole, your mother-in-law is horrible. She will 100% say the same things about your kid in a few years. I'm sorry you are going through that, especially since you had an eating disorder.
Not the a-hole. You have no right to a baby, but especially if you don't respect the parents. And this isn't about you not wanting to see her anymore. This should be your husband insisting that your mother-in-law has no right to see any of you until she has apologized to you, an incredible person, his wife, and the mother of his child.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.